Travis Wayne Goodsell, you guys are going to hate me for this. me. I hope I can keep a straight face. You know, racism, sexism, bigotry, and hatred. But do you recall the most infamous hate crime of all? Mormons are anti-Semitic. Alright. Yeah, Mormons are anti-Semitic. It's not known. At least it's not discussed in the church or in critics' minds. Critics understand that the church is racist. You know, Brigham Young's statue at BYU was tagged during the Black Lives Matter protests as the anti-hate movement spread across America, as the church victim blamed blacks for their 400 years of persecution. And we all know about their sexism, their suppression of women. And I don't understand. I mean, it's just their sexual fetish to have a bondage housewife. They're misunderstood. And then their hatred for LGBTQ, and their disdain for the poor. But yeah, it's not talked about ever. I've never heard anybody talk about the anti-Semitism of the church. They're white supremacists. That's what white supremacists do. They hate everything. And so, yes, anti-Semitism is a part of it. And it's strange because as I've been talking to you about the real LDS Church history of Joseph Smith, about 1 Nephi, chapter 1, verse 2, the learning of the Jews. And so I guess Mormons think that Jews are going to be cleansed, the white supremacist term. But Mormons blame Jews for the murder of Christ. That I have heard from Mormon lips. Just like Christians blame Jews for the murder of Christ. And I've gone over with you, he never existed. There are too many errors in the biblical text, in the Gospels. He does not fulfill the majority of the prophecies that are required for him to have fulfilled. And now apparently he's supposed to get a second chance to redeem himself as the Redeemer. I mean, this is why Jews do not believe in the gospel's Christ. And so it's strange that Mormons are anti-Semitic when Joseph Smith clearly is saying, hey, we're the learning of the Jews, not Christian. Remember Jesus, that first vision? All of Christianity is an abomination in his sight. There was a change in Mormonism as Brigham Young turned it to authoritarianism, kidnapping as many Mormons as he can to hold them hostage here in the Salt Lake Valley. But the United States government came in and shut it all down, put a stop to their nonsense with the Edmunds-Tucker Act. And then it had to keep on going. They had to keep putting pressure on the church because they just wouldn't stop. And so you got the Reed-Smoot hearings and all that. But eventually, the church reincorporates here in Utah. And with that reincorporation, they couldn't, because of the United States, return to the way things were under Brigham Young. And they were white supremacists, so they don't want anything to do with Joseph Smith and Jewishness of Mormonism. And so they decided to turn Christian. And specifically, they embrace evangelicals. Now this is 1923 when the church reincorporates after their complete and utter destruction with the Edmunds-Tucker Act. And so evangelicalism is still on the rise. Evangelicals came out in 1900 with a lawsuit to force creationism to be taught in the school systems, the public school systems, and the Supreme Court, threw it back in their face. Get the hell out of here. And so they went on a revenge spree of having a list of idol gods to fear and tremble before. Pornography being one of those, if you're curious about that. And the church, I guess, decided, hey, they're our kind of people. And so they merge the mythology that they've created for the church history, because they can't go back to Brigham Young's organization. They have to go back to claim they're true successors of Joseph Smith, which they're not. I've gone over that. And so they turn the church history into a myth. Joseph Smith as a myth, the Book of Mormon as a myth, as Mormons continue to believe it's all true, that it's reality, that myth is reality, and intermingle it with evangelicalism. As my mother, I caught her watching Billy Graham, and I'm saying, well, that's not Mormon. What are you watching that for? She says, well, he says a lot of things that are good and true. Mom, you see, I was raised up in the church telling me, oh, the devil is very sneaky. He throws out 99% truth and then 1% lie. But there was my mother embracing Billy Graham. And I mean, we weren't in Utah, so my mom couldn't watch the BYU devotionals. So Billy Graham was her alternative choice in Southern California. But as a result, Mormons have been fooled and deceived into thinking that the latter-day Armageddon is going to be a war in Jerusalem. Just like Christians believe that the Jews are going to be the world's focus for the war. And, well, now we know it's here in America. Today is supposed to be the day. Still no word yet from any source in America of anything. Fox 13 News Utah. I saw the news segment from last night saying, oh, we'll keep you updated on the crisis in America. Okay. But still all is silent. Silent morning. And so when you understand what Mormons did with the Jerusalem Center that they put out there, you need to understand that the Jews have no interest in embracing Judaism. It's all about, hey, we're sneaking in, we're going to infiltrate and cleanse you of your Jewishness, to turn you into Mormon. That's the concept. And it's the same as Christians. They are cheering for Trump, establishing Jerusalem as the capital, and having moving the American embassy or whatever it was to Jerusalem, just outside Jerusalem or wherever it was. And it's a deceptive ploy. Christians, yeah, they'll cheer for the Jews, but they'll also watch them burn in the second coming. Same with Mormons. Oh yeah, come join our church. If not, you're going to suffer in the second coming. This is white supremacist hatred, anti-Semitic hatred. That concept of you must be cleansed from your Jewishness. And there are prophecies by Joseph Smith, section 45, for example, where he uses the latter days talking about Jews and Jerusalem. But Mormons, because they're now Christian, interpret that literally, that the end of the world will be in Jerusalem and it will be the Jews. Clueless that Joseph Smith used code in the Doctrine and Covenants. Maybe I'm of the older generation that knew this. It's in Wikipedia, it's online. The church even acknowledges it. The church controls that site. But in the 1979, 1981 versions of the scriptures, with the topical guide, Bible dictionary, code names. There was an attempt by BYU scholars who were involved in that process to see if they can research what the coding for them were. And so under list of code names in the Doctrine and Covenants for Wikipedia, as they're celebrating their birthday, I can't do that, I gotta do this other thing. So they have code names for people, other code words. There are code names for places, but I'm not seeing it. Yeah, other code words, it's mixed in there. Kane Hannock is New York. Let's see. Lane Shine House is the print office. The mercantile store is Alzanda. Shinehaw is Kirtland, Ohio. Remember, it's a word for sun, so it's the city of the sun. Heliopolis in Egyptian. Kirtland. And so they were able to figure out several of these, but I've gone over with exclusive reporting for you revelation for you, whatever you want to call it, that there's missing stuff, and I've exposed what they are. For example, section 1, verse 16. They seek not the Lord to establish his righteousness. And that's kind of vague. Who's they? Who's they, Mormons? Mormons? Who are they? Mormons? Mormons? Where are you? Who are they? Seek not the Lord to establish his righteousness, but every man walketh in his own way, after the image of his own God, whose image is in the likeness of the world, and whose substance is that of an idol, which waxeth old and shall perish. Wait for it. In Babylon. Even Babylon the Great, which shall fall. Well, what's Babylon? Well, I've gone over that with you. We know all this. The hymn, Ye Elders of Israel. O Babylon, we bid thee farewell. We're going to the mountains of Ephraim to dwell. What do you think the composer is talking about there? He knows. Babylon is America. There he is. Perish in Babylon, even Babylon the Great, which shall fall. Shall perish in America, even America the Great, which shall fall. How did they miss that one? We all know it as Mormons. How did they miss it? And when you understand that Babylon is being referred to as America, and it's going to fall, then it sort of lends to the question in 1 Nephi chapter 1. In verse 8, Lehi is overcome with the Spirit. He has a dream, and he sees a sign in the heavens. It's actually a merging of two signs in the heavens into one. They're from John's Revelation. Why John's Revelation? Well, because they tell you that's where they're getting their whole information from. The angel tells Nephi that I've also told this to an apostle of the Lord, Lamb, and his name shall be John. He shall write. Thus, they're telling us, refer to Revelation. And so he sees the 2017 September 23rd sign, the sign of the Son of Man, and he then sees the sign, which again is repeated in a different form as if it were a real event, which all of us as missionaries went out and told the world. Oh, the highlight of the Book of Mormon is in 3 Nephi chapter 11 when Jesus appears to the people on the American continent. No. That's Revelation 19. The sign of the Son of Man, Revelation 12. And here you have Revelation 12 merged with Revelation 19. So September 23rd, 2017 merged with 8 April 2024. And so what do they see? They see, woe unto Jerusalem. He sees the dates 2017 to 2024, and the signs of the sun darkening are over America, and yet Lehi is saying, woe, woe unto Jerusalem, for I have seen thine abominations. And yea, and many things did my father read concerning Jerusalem, that it should be destroyed. And the inhabitants thereof, many should perish by the sword, and many should be carried away into captive into Babylon. Babylon's America. What do you think Jerusalem is? Mormons. 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 Are you listening? Do you hashtag hear him? Mormons. And so Joseph Smith was never talking about the Jews. That was the code. Remember, the learning of the Jews. Pre-captivity Jews. So technically, it's not anti-Semitism, it's anti-Hamido, Egyptian. And so, yeah, Mormons are now haters, anti-Semitics. Even though it's technically anti-Hamido, but they're both. Because the current Jews want to embrace Babylonian culture. Okay, so that persecuting you is anti-Semiticism, but Joseph Smith was pursuing the pre-captivity Jews, and that's anti-Hamido. That Mormons are now embracing full hatred of anything of our origins. And so yeah, when Section 45, again, I'll close with that, as nobody's listening anyway. Alright, so looks like 48 is where it begins. So understanding that he's not talking literally here. This is all still code, like the rest of the Doctrine and Covenants was code. And as I just revealed and exposed, the Book of Mormon as coded. Here you have more code. And then shall the Lord set his foot upon this mount, and it shall cleave in twain, and the earth shall tremble and reel to and fro, and the heavens also shall shake. And the Lord shall utter his voice, and all the ends of the earth shall hear it. Hashtag hear it. And the nations of the earth shall mourn, and they that have laughed shall see their folly. Who's they, Mormons? Mormons. Who's they? Mormons. And calamity shall cover the mocker, and the scorner shall be consumed. Travis, you're the mocker. You're the one who's laughing at us. And they that have watched for iniquity shall be hewn down and cast into the fire. Who's they, Mormons? And then shall the Jews? Right. Then shall the Jews look upon me. So when you understand that this is the pre-captivity Jews, the learning of the pre-captivity Jews, it's not the Gospel's Jesus Christ. That's not him. It's not the Jews. It's Mormons, and it's the Mormon version of Christ after the learning of the pre-captivity Jews. And say, what are these wounds in thy hands and in thy feet? And then shall they know that I am the Lord. For I will say unto them, these wounds are the wounds with which I was wounded in the house of my friends. I am he who was lifted up. And I'm sorry, it was either Random Muse or the anonymous Latter-day Saint who heard that video that I made on this. I can't remember. These are all unscripted, so there's no way I'm going to remember to quote. But yeah, he liked the additional dumbasses or whatever I said in regards to that on the other video. I am he who was lifted up. I am Jesus that was crucified. I am the Son of God. Again, coded. And then shall they weep. Who are they? Mormons. Mormons, where are you? Hello? Are you listening? Hashtag hear him. And then shall they weep because of their iniquities. Then shall they lament because they persecuted their king. So here we are. The start of the Civil War II, which Joseph Smith also prophesied of. As there are those in Mormonism who did understand a second civil war in the Civil War section of the Doctrine and Covenants. But yep, it happened. Amazing how he knew. I'm sure it had nothing to do with William Morgan talking to Joseph Smith Sr. down in Canandaigua, New York. Yeah. So, sorry, Mormons. Joseph Smith was referring to you as Jews, and here you are as anti-Semitic. Good job. I'm sure Jesus is happy for you. Do you not understand you're the ones going to be cleansed? You're the Lamanites who turned dark. It's kind of a... Joseph Smith was very... Well, it wasn't... Senior was very clever in that. I've done the video yesterday, so if you need to see that video to understand Joseph Smith had nothing to do with the Book of Mormon. But the twist that they put in there, that these during captivity or pre-captivity Jews, Lehi and Ishmael and their family, leave Jerusalem as white as the driven snow humans, come to America. Then Laman says, I'm to be the king, bow to me, Nephi. And so Nephi flees and goes and founds his own group of Nephites, and Laman establishes the Lamanites and continually hunts down the Nephites to subject them to his authority, and they turn black. And that's a dig by Smith Sr. on white supremacists. That their hatred turns their soul dark with the hate. And everybody misses that, especially Brigham Young, who tried to justify his racist and other hate for a literal interpretation of the Book of Mormon. But again, it's not a real history. It's code. So, all is well, all is well. They shot my wife. I'm not going to go down there. That's going to be a dark and ugly remake. So yeah, still nothing yet. Maybe it'll be the evening, maybe it'll be the daytime, I don't know. Their war strategy sucks. They need to read the Book of Mormon.